Recently, as well as many times in the past, I've seen people getting upset over some posts on various social media. So today I decided that enough is enough. Because this is so bad for our health that I'm going to explain how the algorithms work, both on those social media in general, as well as in our own brain, and how it indeed impacts our health, for instance, our immune system. Ni hao, and welcome on my channel. I'm Roxalane Elmira, now a proud French-Canadian xiaofei and single mompreneur, homeschooling my teenage daughter Lara and my son Ryu. I'm a passionate reader, always curious about everything human related. Since this video might feel more or less long according to your time and motivation, you can go directly to the chapter that interests you from the timeline in the description box below, or slide the cursor as needed. Oh, and as I gradually upload subtitles in English, French, and various languages, you may turn them on for your own convenience, especially if my accent is not easy on your ear. I do them myself or with the help of native speakers. So, welcome more specifically in this video of the series Roxalane Elmira 202, Correlation on Life Management and Leadership. As in all of my 202, I try my best to answer the question, how? By explaining the correlation between various facts, both on a professional and a personal level, in order to help you understand better how those facts can help you make better decisions and live a better life. More specifically, in this life management and leadership section, I explore everything that may help you organize better your daily life, as well as set life objectives and become an example for your friends and family, as well as your peers in real life or online, and I'll keep adding content as needed. If you don't see a particular subject yet that you would like to understand better, don't hesitate to post your question in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer either directly or through a video after doing appropriate research if needed. Before digging in, a quick reminder, if it's not done yet and you want to support me doing more helpful content, subscribe, like, share, and comment to aid me to improve. Okay, so let's start with the purpose of every single social media, being American, Chinese, or other, written in pictures or video. They all want your attention. Through the posts you read, the images you look at, or the video you watch, they want to make you stay on their platform rather than wander elsewhere. They don't care if you like it or not. They just want you to stay. Once you understand this big difference between your enjoyment and their goal, we can understand how they proceed to keep that attention with them. Basically, they aim for the strongest emotion possible, either love or hate, it doesn't matter, as long as it's not lukewarm. So they program complex formulas called algorithm to calculate the time you spend and the amount of interaction you give on what kind of post, and make correlation or comparison, if you will, with the same statistics other people spend on those same kind of publications. Then they suggest similar posts that have induced similar reaction to people that have shown similar interest. And those algorithms are now sophisticated enough that in less than 48 hours, they know pretty well what makes you react. Again, no matter if it's positively or negatively. Another important point is the use of keywords, either hashtags or in description or even in what is called metadata, the information embedded in pictures and videos even before their upload on the social media. What it means is that if the publisher used certain words, their post will come up in related searches or suggestions, even if it's brand new. And platforms do not like at all when wrong words or misleading ones are used, so it can lead an account to be blocked or even temporarily or permanently banned. So beware. Of course, It means that if you stumble on such publication, either post, picture, or video, it's a good idea to report them. So, if you wonder why either YouTube or any other social media suggests topics that do not interest you, there are two possibilities. Other than being a baby of less than few days on that particular platform, of course. Either those publications are misleading, using wrong words, keywords, and such, and that can be intentionally, thus word a report, or unintentionally, for instance, in the case of bad translations, or the local usage of specific words that differ than in your region and such. For instance, I'm French Canadian, and we do not use the same words for the same meaning this side of the ocean or in France. And it can sometimes lead to, well, pretty funny or not situations. Also, automatic translators still have a long way to go to be as good as humans. On all those, you don't have much power, but there is a second possibility that depends entirely of you. Maybe you gave too much attention. For instance, ranting for hours on a certain topic, going from one post to another on the same subject. But remember that the algorithm doesn't care if that time makes you happy or angry. As long as you stick to them, they are happy. So, for mutual benefit, it's actually a good idea to tell the platform what topic to suggest in the future by interacting as much as possible on matters that make you happy and as little as possible on those that make you sad or angry. That way, both you and the social media will be happy, as you'll be willing to spend more time on it. Now, in this particular video, I'm not gonna try to show you how to select or block content from every social media. I'll stick to YouTube. So if you'd like me to cover other platforms, let me know in the comments. What is interesting and that lots of people don't realize is that our brain works much in the same way. There is a little structure called reticulated activator system that filters all the information both your senses and your feelings bring. If we were to keep in our conscious mind every single such detail, we would get crazy in no time. Imagine, for instance, noting a change in temperature, air current, and lightning every second. So, since that reticulated activator system is slightly more sophisticated than its digital counterpart, it also integrates emotion in its data. Because these emotions are actually the language of your brain. And to understand them is to understand your brain. I strongly suggest you watch the beautiful Disney Pixar movie Inside Out. It explains in a cute and funny way how all that works. There is also a short, though no less funny, video by one of my favorite YouTube channel, Nobody Cares, that I'll link in the description box down below. Even though if it's in French, they have many subtitles, including English, of course. So to summarize, our basic emotion, to which our brain tries to always come back, is joy. Every other ones are to push you to take action to change a situation. How our brain joins the digital algorithm, though, is that even more than wanting to feel joy, it wants to feel coherent, aligned with your beliefs. So, for instance, if you believe that the world is a dangerous place, it'll focus your attention on everything that can prove that belief as true, even if it makes you scared instead of happy. If you believe that people are bad and wicked, it'll look for every instance of it and highlight it for your consciousness to pay attention, even if it makes you angry, and so on. Now, what is interesting is that you can have control over your beliefs. You cannot change them in one go, but By consciously paying attention to things you actually want to believe, you can emphasize it, and thus your brain will start to show you more and more facts to confirm that new belief. It's called the confirmation bias. Exactly like when you want to buy a new car, for instance. Once you have set your mind on a specific model, you'll start to see it everywhere, thinking that suddenly so many people made the same choice as you. Eh, there are not more of those cars all of a sudden. It's just that your brain has learned to highlight them to bring them to your attention. Side note, this is how the CP marketing works, by the way. So, whenever something makes you feel any other feeling than joy, once you identify that feeling, and more importantly, the message it wants you to understand, you then verify if you can change the situation itself, if it is in your field of power or at least of influence. If not, then you can only change your focus. Bring to your attention something that will bring joy to you. For instance, if some news in the media make you sad or angry, you most probably cannot change the event itself, but you can choose to see another event that would counterbalance the negative one. For the news of a natural disaster, you can look at the solidarity it summons among the population. For the news of a war or killing, you can look at the heroism it calls in some bystanders. For news of disease, you can look at the scientific researches that help us better understand health, etc. At this point, you may think it's more easily said than done, and you're right. Yet, it is our choices that define us more than our personality. And everything worth in life needs some effort. So it is up to you to decide what direction you want to go, what goals you want to achieve. The power is in your hands. Lastly, if you're not sure yet how much a choice to actively pursue joy is worth, let me tell you quickly about the impact of your feelings on your health, including, for instance, your immune system and your brain itself. First of all, from the point of view of biology, emotions are a bunch of neurotransmitters, chemicals that induce various functions in your body. For instance, fear will prepare you to fight or fly by shutting all non-vital functions and sending more oxygen to your muscles, including your heart. Anger will make you ready to sustain a siege, if I can say so, meaning that it will secrete cortisol, the stress hormone. Short term, it is good to cope with the immediate pressure of events, but if it stays too long, it'll attack your immune system, many organs, and even specific neurons dedicated to learning. Since it also uses more efficiently sugar to allow you to function even with less food, in our modern societies, it actually induces obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, since we're not in a deprived situation. The last two illnesses I'll mention as ultimate consequences are cancer and Alzheimer, because all those health troubles are directly dependent of our habits in the long run. At the opposite, disgust can reinforce our immune system by avoiding what is deemed toxic, figuratively as well as for real. At its extreme, though, it might make us scared of trying new things, so we must be aware of this to still dare to discover and thrive. Finally, sadness is precisely the one that pushes us to renew our environment, to create new neuronal connections by discovering new things, as long as we're willing to listen to its message and not fall into depression. And please, don't simply believe my word. I also link a few resources in the description box below, so go read by yourself to find out more, especially as it's a research domain that evolves constantly. If you think it's a good idea to filter what social media offer you, yet don't even know where to start, let me quickly show you a few tips for YouTube. And if you find this useful and want me to tackle other social media, feel free to comment and tell me which one you want me to start with. First, let's start from your homepage. By clicking on the three dots of any video presented, except for ads, you'll see those options and can especially look at the last three. Not interested? Don't recommend channel and report. They are in a gradation of dislike, if I may say so. Obviously, the first one will simply hide that video and slowly remember that you're, not interested. The second will immediately stop suggesting that entire channel and will remember that most of the topic presented by it is not to your taste. Finally, the third option acts as a kind of warning that showing you more of those might make you leave, which is quite the opposite of what they want, as we already discussed. Now, from the page of any video, you'll have suggestions either on your right on a computer or tablet or below on a cell phone. This time, you'll have the first and third option available. You won't be able to block an entire channel. It's why from time to time I go check on my homepage if there's still some I may block, but to be honest, at this point, it's been a long time that I did it, nor actually have had truly unpleasant suggestions. Because if you choose the not interested option, you can further select the reason as either you don't like this video or you have already seen it. Obviously, saying that you don't like it will also register in the algorithm, making your next suggestions cleaner and cleaner of anything that you don't like. Another point of interest is to give heat or not to a video. As some might have autoplay on, YouTube and Facebook at least, and probably most video app or website, will consider that if you watch less than 10% of video, it's not worthy to be counted as a view. If you watch between 10 and 50%, it means that you were dissatisfied with it. Thus, it hurts the channel and counts for you as something that you dislike. Thus shouldn't be suggested anymore. If you watch between 50 and 90%, it is quite neutral, enough to be shown again among other things. Finally, if you watch over 90% of it, it's considered as complete enough to count positively for the channel, thus will increase its chances to be suggested to others as well as offer you the same kind of video in priority. So now you have a better idea of what to do to encourage the channels you like, as well as the opposite. Last note, I know some choose to not block in order to be able to report videos or posts that they deem inappropriate, and that is a commendable decision. Yet, it is important to acknowledge your own limits. A first aider that falls becomes a victim and is unable to further help. If you notice that those posts impact negatively your moral, please take a break and come back when you're ready to help create a better environment for everyone. Don't wait to be so fed up that you get away forever. Your community counts on you to be strong and healthy, not to disappear. Before letting you go, I'll finish this video with a small Amerindian legend full of a simple wisdom. A grandfather was telling his grandson about the tools each of us have inside our heart. One is full of joy, optimism, and positive encouragement. The other is full of anger, pessimism, and negative criticism. And they fight constantly. The child asked his elder, which one wins? The wise man replied, the one you feed. And now, since committing your decision to written words is more efficient than keeping them in your head, I suggest you take all of us as accountability partners and encourage you to share in the comments which wolf will you feed from now on. And why not encourage a few others as well in replying to their commitment. If you appreciate this work, like and share as usual, and help me improve and guide me for further subject by leaving comments. As I add video in all levels and categories, I always sort them in appropriate playlists. So you can explore them as you see fit, same as checking the references I always link in the description box below. If you want to continue the conversation, Remember to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and join the community or check my other social media. And if you have any questions or suggestions, I read all comments and reply whenever I can. So, I wish you a happy dive into Xiao Chan's world, and as he would say, always remember to live a healthy and positive life.